The day wanes long here at the Overwatch Beat Invitational, and yet two matches yet remain. One more in the lower bracket. Ladies and gentlemen, now we see if No Clout is ready for pizza. Chicken Ranch Pizza versus No Clout. Jason, the next match of the day. What are your thoughts?
Well, I have to answer your first question of who the hell isn't ready for pizza because it's delicious. Um, this is gonna be an interesting one. No Cloud having like a nice 15-minute breather since their last match where they did pick up 2-0. This will be a best of three, kicking off on the Yuzhong Tower. On the other end, though, Chicken Ranch Pizza have looked mortal, I'd say. They had 5 points taken against them on King's Row. They had 2 points taken against them on Temple of Anubis, where they luckily held out on that first point on the second go. So they're definitely looking a lot more mortal than I'd say No Cloud has over the course of this tournament.
No Clout, even when they've lost, they've looked good, and you think about who they lost to, you have to go back to their matchup versus Envision, where Envision has sort of carved out their niche of being the team to beat. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of these two teams, particularly about how they play here in Control Center. I think it's likely, though, that we end up seeing a Rat versus Rat battle, Keller versus Hobbs. And never forget, it's Voil versus Vol. But Voil sort of has the weird characters going in it, so hopefully that will keep me honest.
I'm trying to ask them if they're willing to keep the name if they win. If they lose, they have to change it.
That'd be good. Extra stakes here, where the winner must change to something that does not look like Vol or Voil.
Just change it to JCap, you know? We need more JCaps in the world.
No.
Three in Overwatch isn't enough.
There's way too many, let alone when you look at COD. No more J-Caps. The world has many.
World could always use more J-Caps. Sorry.
Oh my god. Keller, so low, and yet the trap saves it from D.Va up here. D.Va ends up backing off, and Keller is still alive. A big swing in the fight to be sure, as Keller hits Little Menace over the top, and it's a big concussion mine as well. Oh my goodness. They say fights in Overwatch are one on a razor's edge as Keller goes hog wild.
Keller did this on Temple of Anubis too. He did this exact same thing. That's how they defended the first point on the second go, because he was able to still have a Junkrat, able to just spam away with these grenades. Well done by him. They get the initial control. And now No Clout going to be going for their next attack here. Voil has switched over to Genji, Hobbs on Tracer, so they've lost a lot of ult percent. Even Paintbrush and Little Menace, they went for a full reset on their comp practically.
And the problem is, that's going to put them very much behind on ult economy, and more so than that, I don't think swapping off Junkrat is really the right play in Control Center. I mean, yeah, you can sometimes make it work without Rat, but Rat is so overpowering even after the nerf here, it's difficult. And now Keller is going to have the tire, which will compensate for being down full. Here comes the tire, over the top. No, it doesn't compensate for anything. It's taken down by Hawk, an opportunity lost. And even without the Rat, No Clout making an opportunity here, but they have to get through Sharp. They're getting cut to pieces right now as he goes to the back.
It's just Little Menace all by himself, as it will eventually be picked off. 50% and counting now for Chicken Ranch Pizza as they continue to almost steamroll this game. And look at them, they're not being aggressive, they're not holding up close, which is kind of confusing for me. Obviously, they did lose a couple of people, but those grenades can be so deadly.
Jason, read me Keller's ult percentage right now.
I can't read. 77%.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. He just used tire. Junkrat, please, you're stupid on this map. Regardless, 80% right now. Was working the top, and there's the bomb you're looking for. Sharp in the back takes down two. The tire not even going to be necessary so long as Sharp is playing like this.
Something you don't see very often on the kill feed there. Keller killing Hobbs with his martyrdom, with his death. With the grenades after his life, is able to pick up the kill.
Total mayhem. It's what it's called. You don't see it very often. But now we're down to what should be the final fight here. Chicken Ranch Pizza on the verge of taking this first round, and Keller making himself nice and safe as he lets loose the tire. The tire to the back. He's going to throw it at Hobbs. It's 43 HP, and down Hobbs goes. A quick Tracer pick. It works out for Keller. Two early pickoffs for Chicken Ranch Pizza, and suddenly it's No Clout on the fringe.
Well, I mean, Chicken Ranch Pizza looks mortal earlier on, but they're looking pretty damn godlike here. Again, kills after kills. Keller just leading the way. Another tire went through, already 20% built up towards his next. He's not even going to need it, though, I would say, as this pulse bomb will stick. Smurf does get away. He does clear the landing zone, or clear the team, and they take it with pretty convincing fashion.
Chicken Ranch Pizza looking awfully like a scrumptious treat there. And Jason, this is Control. One round away. They're already going to be going up a map. And
go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, I do believe they were still in best 2 out of 3 so long as we're in lower brackets. So No Clout could be finding themselves under the gun pretty quickly here.
I was wondering how Chicken Ranch Pizza got their name, and I was thinking there was like an episode of Family Guy where Peter gets caught and the guy's like asking him like, "What's your name?" And he tries to come up with a new name. He looks around the room. He sees a P. He's like a Peter. He sees a tier. And I feel like they're all in a room together. And they're just looking around like, "What can we name ourselves? Chicken Ranch Pizza. Done. Let's go." Name's so weird.
And it means that they ate well the day that they came up with that name because they had access to pizza and chicken, or both at the same time. But Jason, we're getting right into it. It's highly aggressive stuff coming out here from No Clout. They're running a Pharah, and Chicken Ranch Pizza is not. And yet Vol gonna get demeched from those rockets. Voil leading in the charge. And so far, I have not mixed up Voil and Vol. Take that. Checkmate.
It's very early day in this best of 3 CP. Don't worry, there's plenty of time out. I believe it was Gray that got knocked off the map, actually. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, by Voil because of the knockup of the rocket. Kind of like was jumping at the wrong time and it knocked him off the map, as well as Keller did eventually get finished off really quickly for the team. Eventually quickly. Doesn't make sense, but anyways, he died very early on, and now they're going to come back into the next attack. Voil's going to have his barrage, so when they come through this doorway, they're going to be in a tough spot.
Voil working his way around. As you mentioned, he has the barrage. This is where he's going to be sneaky. Floating like a stealth bird. Drops the barrage. It's a quick 2 for... He might have died, but the sacrifice was nothing but worth.
And there's the res. Come back up, so he'll be fine. The 3 kills he got, since he killed himself, it technically does count. It will net them the control. Just like we saw in Control Center, this is just as one-sided so far for No Clout. But can they keep this going? Because Keller on the Soldier has not been able to do anything just yet. He died early on the first fight, he died early in the second, and he's only 20% in on his tac visor.
You hit on the key point. It's up to Keller to neutralize Voil, perhaps with the aid of Vol. You need Vol on Voil for this to work. And I'm just saying both names because I have great faith in my abilities. Oh, a Helix rocket snipes Winston out of the air. That's one way to get an advantage. Barrier in, and so is the pizza rolling into the oven that is the center point on Legion Garden.
I mean, they could be Chicken Ranch Pizza rolls for all this, for all we know. If they do push in, they do get the kills. The Soundbearer used, just like I said, for good measure, just to make sure they don't lose anyone so they can maintain that good full control. And honestly, you have to give credit though to No Clout for just staggering in because they're still building up a lot of percent. About 10% and counting now.
Yeah, it's worthwhile what they're doing right now, where yes, they're feeding the beast. They're giving more toppings to Chicken Ranch Pizza in the form of more ult charge. But they brought themselves to the threshold where they're potentially one fight away from taking this. Next fight, though, Jason, will be crucial. Both teams pretty well armed.
And the Soundbearer is going to be the big thing for the attacking side now for No Clout. I got Barrage, but Keller's Visor. If Hawk is desuited right away, or if they can't chase Kaiser down, you can be looking at some quick kills, especially with Little Menace and Voil in the air. I feel like Keller could almost get a guaranteed kill.
Might just be able to do that. Soundbearer in early for No Clout. Keller, though, backs out, waits for the bear to mostly be gone, brings in the tac visor, guns Little Menace out of the sky. Angel's not flying too well this time, but it's even 4-on-4. Smurf investing his Primal Rage, bopping around, disrupting during the bulk of this fight, and it's going to be enough. Chicken Ranch Pizza on the verge of a comeback here.
I feel like you're saying that name on purpose. They are on a comeback. I mean, it was very kind of questionable with how the first 2 fights started, but you have to give credit to Voil and Hobbs to really deal with Keller off the get-go. Even Hypnon in there and Hawk too. Gotta give them all credit. But now he's been given space. He's been given that freedom to play around. That it's really hard to close that gap, especially when you do have aids sticking to his side to keep him really healthy and really fast.
No Clout working around the other side. Voil, barrage locked and loaded, moving the way around. Dashing, drops the barrage. Not gonna get too much here, as Keller just takes him right down. Keller off the other end, and Voil gets a second chance at life. Little Menace, good at getting the resurrections off without getting punished. The threat of Voil now back in play, and now this is where Chicken Ranch Pizza, they have to go back in the point. They're giving too much up. 50%, 75, almost 100. Grand 8 tried to deal with it, but now both supports are down as Keller takes Voil out with a well-placed rocket. I don't think it's going to be enough, but stylish, Jason, nonetheless.
Definitely. I don't think it's going to be enough in the end either, but they're still contesting. They're going to get that 99% guaranteed, and they're still put up 1%, but no, maybe they want this here. Smurf popping the Primal Rage, trying to swap them away, trying to give some sort of hope for them to maintain this point without losing it. The Pulse Bomb has gone off, has eventually helped finish Smurf, finished him, but they still have the men on the point. This is going to be turned over to No Clout.
Well, one thing that they have in their edge here is that I think due to the nature of how those are taken, given that most people were resetting, they are going to have a chance to come back here, but they don't have much time for positioning. They just need to get through here, not get pooped off the ledge. That's why they're going to the right. They'd rather take the tiny choke point than go to the bridge with a Pharah in play.
If Boyle got too aggressive, they're trying to flank. Keller was coming in delayed. Look at Keller. He's on the bridge. He's coming in from behind it with the tack fires. He's going to pop it down. He's looking for some kills. He's going to be able to take down Paintbrush.
Oh.
No! He gets finished off. The team turns around in time.
Nice rotation by Hobbs. Hobbs had to rotate away from the main pack there, and it worked out. Now it's Chicken Ranch Pizza on the downturn. Sharp, though. Man of magic, man of miracles. Moving his way in. Pulse bomb ready. Looking for Winston. Doesn't shoot. Looking for Boyle. Does have an opportunity. Boyle making it rain over the top. Sharp, not with any options here. Finally throws out the pulse bomb. Takes down Little Menace, but he's going to need more than that. And for Chicken Ranch Pizza, they are just left undone. We're going to a round 3.
But unfortunate for Sharp, because he was kind of around the dead body of Boyle, and Little Menace went in to go for the res. If Sharp just turned around and hit him with that pulse bomb, he might have got like a double kill from that. And that actually could have been enough to maybe turn the tides, maybe, you know, hold that point on for them or turn it back in their favor. But either way, I mean, both teams really duking it out when it came to Garden, but Night Market's going to be a little bit of a different story. It's going to give a little bit more freedom for Keller to play the soldier if he wanted to. But it looks like he wants to go Genji this time. He wants to stick to projectile.
And I understand why, because part of the reason why I don't think that was working out well is that you're not running a Mercy right now unless you're running a Pharah, which means that anything that's trying to counter the Pharah doesn't have the consistent throughput healing that the Pharah has, so it actually is difficult for the soldier to make that work as much. Keller, though, he doesn't have to fight the Pharah as much, although he does land some nice anti-air shurikens. He can play the corners a little bit more, and Voil's going to be pressured to go indoors, where it might be a little bit more beneficial to the rest of the team, but Keller, under a lot of pressure here early on.
Boyle's doing a lot of chip damage though, 65% on his barrage and counting. No one's even close to that 0%, and he's still getting a lot of damage from behind. They're ignoring him. He's at 82%.
Hypnot, though, picked off, goes a little bit deep. Hobbs, the equalizer, both tanks out of the fight. And Keller almost getting soloed by Lucio here in the back. Genji not enjoying those tunes, to say the least, and probably losing fight. Oh no, what a bouquet! Knocking it off and keeping Chicken Ranch Pizza in the fight. Respawn's coming back in, drops the barrier, he built it off of the boops, and this could still go anyway as Little Menace finally taken out of skies.
Sharp's got a pulse bomb to use, but isn't he wants to commit it. Keller has fallen, only 60% on his Dragon Blade, eventually going down to Hypnot. You can see Swerve trying to get back into the point, but the fight is still happening with 4 people alive on No Clout, trying to duke it out. Eventually, Hypnot will go down, so the man advantage will go the way of the technically defending team of Chicken Ranch Pizza since they were there.
No Clout starting to turn this fight back into their own. Late support ultimates working in their favor, both the barrier and Valkyrie invested, but nothing much that Chicken Ranch Pizza can do about it when both used at the same time. That was a long first fight, but when the dust is settled, it's No Clout winning, and Boyle in the skies once more.
Keller going back soldier though, switches off Genji. I think he was at like 80% too. He was really close to his blade. Instead, he's going to go to the soldier to deal with the Pharah, who's going to be camping a lot of their exits. Maybe going for that kind of flanking play again where he goes a little bit delayed from his team. Transcend's going to be used just to help transition for them across the courtyard towards point.
Ball takes down the paintbrush early on. Boyle still in the air, under pressure. Keller guns him out of the sky, no longer on the Genji, and this time making the soldier swap work. And now you see the point pressure coming in from Chicken Ranch Pizza. They lose the battleground here, and they almost get the point for free. Look at the progress bar as Keller is still ripping them to shreds.
That's a 99.9 if I've ever seen it. And Keller did do just that, ripping them to shreds. 76% off his, or 76% towards his tactical visor from one fight, like one fight alone. That's how much damage he did in the last one. But then again, Chicken Ranch Pizza committed a lot of ultimates. Post bomb, self-destruct, the Primal Rage, the Transcendence, just to even get that point taken. And luckily for them, yeah, the opposing team of No Clout did use a lot themselves too.
Boyle again, coming in off the flank, focusing tanks. His main goal there was to lay damage in the Smurf, and Smurf still hasn't been healed up. Gray hasn't been able to orb him. Smurf still working at a disadvantage. Now Boyle, not satisfied yet, looking for more. Looking for Keller, coming in around the flank. Still at full HP, and Keller ends up falling in part because of that pressure. Boyle, working his way back into the point. Again, looking for the takes. Splashes both at the same time, and finally Sharp, ending the madness. Is back and forth on the point. Keller, he's running back with attack visor that could be the difference maker.
He can get there in time though. Little Men's gonna get the resident of Boyle. Sharp's just trying to stall. Gray's there off to the side too. He actually 90% of his Transcendence. He could pop at any time. He's gonna use this on Keller, who just got back to the point with his visor ready to go, gets bursted.
And the unfortunate thing is that Gray had just invested Transcendence. They could have linked that up perhaps a little bit better. The fight, though, still in progress. Chicken Ranch Pizza still in control. They've gained progress for this entire slog, so even as a losing fight, it's not necessarily bad for them.
I honestly know Clout's doing a great job of just preventing Keller from doing anything. In the last two fights, and the one that just happened, he died immediately trying to get into the point. But as that fight started, he was off by himself trying to go for the flanking soldier strat, which caused Hobbs, Hypnot, Foil, and Little Menace to just jump on top of him and easily finish him off. So they're doing a good job of just neutralizing that one player.
And Keller knew Hobbs was waiting for him there. He knew what they were looking for. Gets Hobbs to move away. And that pulse bomb, it went on to Moira. Moira was able to fade it away. It didn't do anything, and now Keller's going to try to force his way through. Tac Visor at the ready. Neutralized in large part by the sound barrier. Chicken Ranch Pizza trying to break their way through. Not able to get through. Both teams still at full strength. This is a crazy fight where no one yet has died. And Chicken Ranch Pizza starting to break their way through here, Jason. And there's the first to fall. Hobbs pokes a little bit too deep. 6-on-5 edge. And Chicken Ranch Pizza turn up the heat. The coalescence is up, and they're here to fry.
And they're trying to make some chicken fried ranch pizza, I guess we could say. As Gray's able to get the kill with the Biotic Orb onto Hawk, was suited as well. Looks like they will finally be able to get the point back, but like you said, a long drawn-out fight, eventually going their way. And the pressure's now on, 99% for No Clout. It's a best of 3. You want to pick up this map. You want to be able to go into the next map with a 1-map advantage and the potential to lose that one to take it to a third. But Boyle with the barrage is definitely going to be the man to watch. Can he get himself in a position away from Keller, especially with that visor not building up to use it?
We'll have to see. Sharp right now, 80%. Looking for tanks right now. Gets forced out and taken down by Hobbs. Hobbs off the Tracer flank. Sharp never saw it coming. No Clout on the way back in. They boot Smurf off the edge. A 6-on-4 edge. Here comes Hobbs off the back. Pulse bomb ready. Not even having to use it here as full control of the point in No Clout's favor. 99% to 98. Maybe Gray gets on in time as Moira. Maybe not. We are in overtime right now as Gray gives up his life for the cause. Smurf in on the other side. He's blown up. Chicken Ranch Pizza on the verge here at Lijiang Tower. Sharp gets back into the point, but how long can they keep this up, Jason?
Well, the Sound Bear is going to help them stay alive a lot longer. They will get the resuit onto Hawk as he gets back into the fight from being rezzed, and the kill feed is just all now blue. There's nothing that Chicken Ranch Pizza can do about this one. And No Clout is now 1 map away from sending the pizzas home.
1 map away from causing hunger for gamers everywhere, because Chicken Ranch Pizza is the only source of nourishment anyone should need. Not really.
Well,
Please, I do not follow my dietitian advice. I am not actually a dietitian.
Well, I mean, yeah, okay. Let's just move on from that one, because I was going to say something really bad, but I'm going to be good about this. So they take the map, No Clout now. A team coming in from the Open Division, 9-1 last time I checked their record, which was like 2 days ago. And they are showing that they're a team to be messed with. They're playing all well together. You can't really deny any of them from doing anything really wrong. Again, I like the way they dealt with Keller when it came to Night Market. Time and time again, he always got focused down. And I think that was due to Voyle playing more of like a information gatherer at some points. He was just trying to spot out where Keller was, and then instantly you'd see Hypnot turn. You would have Hobbs come around with the Tracer, and they would get that one kill, because that kill would allow Voyle to be even more impactful as the Pharah.
They're definitely playing very intelligent here, and I have to say, though, on both ends, for No Clout looking dominant towards the end and taking that 2-1, Chicken Ranch Pizza, let's not forget, they have a lot of people playing from EU right now, where I believe Sharp is playing from EU, Gray is playing from EU, and they have players right now that are not necessarily in optimal playing circumstances, but they've still been making a show out of it.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so great about these kind of tournaments is that you get to see these other players. You know, you get to see the up-and-comers. You think back to, I guess technically, like, Who Are You counts, right? He was just a Genji main on ladder, and wasn't really well known, and then also got picked up by Blue Takai, and he just excelled.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You see that happen a lot.
I thought for a second you were going to it's like, yeah, he was just pubbing NA, and who is this guy who never played an Apex? But you are correct.
No, it's just like there's a lot of talent in the ladder that people don't realize, and it's kind of sad that you have to know you have to know someone to be a pro. That's not technically true. It's just kind of like this community within North America and Europe of like the old TF2 guys that kind of came around the beginning who had the advantage of playing this kind of game before. were able to control who were like the pros and didn't give people from the ladder or people who were up and coming in the game a chance to play. So it's nice to see that, they were able to, the people who didn't get that chance to come together, make some teams, and maybe, start to show them up.
I agree, and that's sort of the circle of life in Overwatch, where if you think about it, Jason, think back to some of the players we watched back in the very beginning of Overwatch in the old beta tournaments. Not many
Hubris,
players.
not Enigma.
Yep, not many players from those teams actually made the Overwatch League. A few did, but the vast majority have cycled out, and that will continually be the case where in the esports life cycle, you will have players that rise from the bottom and go to the top, and you'll be watching players on the top slowly sink to the bottom. And it is a fun process in a sense because you get to see the full careers in place, and you get to see the level of play continually ever upward.
That's why scouting, I think, is so important. I'm trying to think of like another example of someone who like had no LAN experience. I guess Swoosh. I don't know if he was a TF. He didn't play TF2, did he?
I mean, I feel like almost everyone at some point played some TF2, but I don't know Swoosh's specific history.
Well, like he was some guy I met in ranked playing Roadhog all the time, and then he had a chance on Movie Star Riders, and during Takeover 2, like his Genji surprised everyone. His Genji was beyond by far the best Genji we saw the entire tournament. But and just like opportunities like that is such a good thing for players.
I agree. Now he gets to win every week with a cool intro as Mayhem goes to the arena, which is unfortunately usually the best showing of Mayhem's play right now. But
you just had to say they win every week. Come on.
With their intros, they definitely do. Gameplay, unfortunately, has not been quite up to par.
I will say I'm pleasantly surprised that a lot of the teams I thought were going to be absolute trash in OWL turned out to be pretty decent.
It is true. Teams have outperformed expectations. I'd say one, even though they had a lot of individual talent, was Philly, where you're just like, you got all your players into the U.S. when? You secured their visas when? Because they didn't play preseason, and they've still been pretty much competitive in the middle of the pack. But Jason...
I think the only... real quick, the only team that I expected to be trash that turned out to be trash was definitely Shanghai Dragons. The amount of talent they have there that could have made a better team that didn't get in because they were too young was disappointing. But anyway...
Miraculous youngsters, not so miraculous when you don't get picked up for Al, I suppose. But we are now into it, Jason. The defense is here, and they're running the Orisa up on top. They may boosted it up, and we'll see how long No Clout can maintain this Vanguard.
Yeah, No Clout, Hawk in particular, did a really good job of countering dives in this position when we saw them yesterday. Because the Winston would jump up, and he'd immediately rocket boost into them to knock him off, to not allow him to get up top, to put that shield down, to actually nudge them away from this position. I'm not sure where the hell Hobbs is going, though, but he ran directly into an enemy team.
Ran directly in. Hypnot right now, holding his ground on the Orisa. This encampment, look at how low they are. No one is falling yet, but no. Finally, the dam breaks. Hobbs and Chicken Free both going to fall to this relentless dive. Pizza in their face, and they weren't hungry, Jason.
Oh, well, I mean, if we were playing, we'd definitely be hungry. This is going to be Chicken Ranch Pizza just completely taking the point. That was just so dominating. They actually, the thing is, they pulled Hobbs. The Widowmaker's okay, but the problem came down to where they had Smurf feint a push to the back end side. So Hobbs is like, all right, I'll go across the way to the other side so you can't get to me. But instead, the entirety of Chicken Ranch Pizza was there to kill him. So it was really unfortunate, and the Widow pick didn't really work out at all. But now they have a second chance here on the second point.
Chicken Ranch Pizza looking for a way in. They don't want to rush this. They want to give Keller time for a play. Oh, Little Menace just bopped immediately. The Winston over the top. 3 quick kills for Chicken Ranch Pizza, and the Blade is yet to come out. Here's the Blade. A little bit of slicing action to the air, to his thoughts. I don't know. Not much actually happened with that Blade, but might not have needed to happen as they've had plenty of room. Late tire, though, from Sugar Free. Working its way around. Can it be the savior they need? Running around the backside. Takes down 2. No Clout. With an opportunity here, Hobbs comes out, pulse bomb at the ready, and the Junkrat tire from the side might have just saved this for No Clout, where, Jason, they haven't even given up a tick yet.
Yeah, really well done. Like the tire, I think that second point is so deadly for a tire because there's 2 angles it can come from, but where you have to stand to like get the point and the distance the tire has to go to get to you when it comes around the corner is so small. So it's really difficult to like burst that down before it kills you off. So well done. I mean, they kind of failed at the first point quite heavily, but Sugar Free with the Junkrat getting that tire up at such a crucial moment just held it.
I kind of like this from Chicken Ranch Pizza, where there's no defensive Sombra, which means that the offensive Sombra is going to get a lot more mileage here. Nothing's going to stop him from getting these hacks onto key health packs here. They're going to be able to just sort of camp them on the offense and go for a more slow push, and on top of getting EMPs. So this is a bit of a power play for Chicken Ranch Pizza, but it could work out really well. And he almost gets a hack on the Hobbs, but not quite.
Keller, though, on the Reaper, he's looking for the Lucy, he's looking for aid, or sorry, he's looking for paintbrush, and eventually does finish him off here, but Sugar Free already gets the kill on a Shark. So the push has almost been halted off the bat. Little Menace going to be using that Coalescence just to kind of keep them healthy, but Gray and Keller both, again, chime in for some more kills. But I don't know if that's going to be enough, because Hawk and Hobbs responded.
Well, Keller just ended up getting killed towards the bottom, was trying to use the health pack to get back up, but not going to happen this time. And he wasn't able to get to that special spot of Reaper momentum where the Reaper could just continually pile on. So, going to be a reset here for Chicken Ranch Pizza. The hack on the health pack is still up, though, and they have an EMP. Gray, the one to watch here. If he gets a good EMP, oh, he almost gets killed by Junkrat spam. But if he does get a good EMP, Jason, it's what they're really looking for.
I feel like Sugar Free's, though, going to play in a really good position so he won't get hacked. Actually, he's in the backup point, so the EMP game's going to be very difficult. That Tire's going to be coming out again, looking for some kills. He's going to go straight for Keller. The Wraith form comes out. Now he's looking for another target with the Tire, and he catches out onto Gray and Aid.
I'm not even sure he realized Gray was there, but Gray definitely was there, definitely blown into itty-bitty pieces, and not available to ruin the electronics of the defending team. So, once more, going to be a reset for Chicken Ranch Pizza. But they are stockpiling ultimates to a degree. They have Death Blossom and EMP. All it needs is one good EMP here, Jason.
Yeah, especially if Keller can get off the Death Blossom, because you can't defense matrix when an EMP's off, so you can still mitigate that damage. Yeah, that's true, right? Because defense matrix is right click, and you can use left and right click, but no other abilities. I don't know. It's gonna be hard. I think Keller's going to be very careful about how he uses this boss.
You don't want to lead with it. You want to use Death Blossom as sort of, we're starting to win the fight, let's win harder. It's difficult to use it in a, we're going to win the fight now off it, at least while Diva is still a thing. Keller, work his way to the right side. He has been noticed. He is a threat. Now looks for Lucio in off the respawn. Zones him out of the fight. It's a good move here early on. Great. Still has EMP, and now he drops EMP, but here's the problem. The Tire is still there. It takes down 2. Every time they think they're getting onto the point, they get run right over. These are the rules of the road when Sugar Free is in charge.
Paintbrush was being very smart, actually. So he wasn't on the respawn, he was sitting in spawn, so when the EMP came in, he would speed out and use a sound barrier. He was trying to avoid this EMP so he wouldn't get caught out onto it, and that was actually really well played. Him and Sugar Free were so far spread out that there was either the Tire was going to get through or the sound barrier was going to get through.
And I just wonder what the response is here, where they've swapped up the Sombra to Moira. The EMP play wasn't working. You would have thought it would be a power play, but Gray just kept running foul of the Tire. And for once, it was a lot of time, but now it's only 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Exactly. I mean, that's a big commitment. Then to just switch it without even using the EMP correctly is really unfortunate for them. The double sound barrier has come in, though. Hawk is going to have a self-destruct to throw in. Keller's still sitting on his Death Blossom, but Sugar Free is this a third Tire back-to-back?
It is. We are actually playing the hidden sequel to Carmageddon 7, An Australian Man's Revenge. Because that's pretty much what's happening right now. Tires, bodies everywhere, Junkrat laughing like a madman, Twitch chat spamming JLOLKE. I don't know here. This has been Junkrat Show. We're just living in it.
Oh, it spells joke. Oh. Wait. Yeah, I didn't know that. Anyway, sorry. Wait for a moment for me. Hawk still has a self-destruct. That's going to be Voldo throwing his in towards the back line. Will not connect onto a target, but Little Menace is going to have his Coalescence up, and he's going to use it to keep everyone up and everyone running. Keller did use Death Blossom, but it doesn't net a kill.
Sugar Free is finally dead. Doesn't quite have a Tire. This is an option now for Chicken Ranch Pizza. They need to commit as far as possible. Here's the self-destruct, though. Doesn't connect. They avoided another bomb. They're working their way in. Sugar Free about to be back into the fight, so the Tire is coming soon. This is where Chicken Ranch Pizza needs to do a little bit more. Sharp doing as much as he can right now. Not being dull in the least. They're going to demech Hawk. And Sugar Free goes down again before he can get the Tire. Time has been built for Chicken Ranch Pizza, and this might be the play.
They haven't gotten that first third yet, but they're eventually going to get...
Tire moving its way around. Grab Sharp.
Oh, he got the Sharp on accident. was even a 10 to target. He wanted to get Keller down, and Keller's still alive, and Keller can continue to fight here. They're coming back as they finally given up 2 ticks on the point. The healing from Little Menace is good, but the sound barrier out of 8 is going to be better.
Keller still in a good position here on the Reaper to keep the pressure up. Self-destruct up on the point for No Clout. No Clout's been phenomenal with this Junkrat play. Keller completely mitigated by the Demon's defense matrix. Nice play by Hawk, and suddenly No Clout on the verge of a hold here with only 81.6% given. And by the way, in case you're curious, Sugar Free, yeah, he's about to have another time. So he did decide.
Another death as well added to his kill-death ratio there as he just get picked off by Sharp, who's back. Smurf gets stuck though, and Hobbs gets the kill. The sound barrier going to come in for paintbrush and catches on to 3 targets.
I have no words to say except tire, and no, it doesn't get any more kills because the round is over. The dream of getting through Junkrat is dead.
You know how we always talk about very minute things when it comes to Overwatch? Like very minute plays? So there was a play that happened there for it was for No Clout. So Hypnot put a shield down when Keller was using Death Blossom, and Hawk had Defense Matrix up. And once he saw the shield was around him, he turned off the Defense Matrix and then killed Keller, because when you're ulting as a Reaper, you're very vulnerable. You can't run away, you can't Wraith form, you can't escape. So
very true.
Just being very smart about it, turn off the Defense Matrix, attack him, kill him, and then go about your way. Go back to that full hold on second.
And just knowing what damage the Reaper's going to put out, and when you have the shield around him, the answer is not too much. But props where props are due there. I think the offensive coordination of Chicken Ranch Pizza looked fine at points, but Sugar Free was the safety barrier there, where anytime it looked like a push was going to be successful, fire in the hole, and it's done. Multiple double kill towers from Sugar Free that Chicken Ranch Pizza just did not have an answer to.
Well, again, how do you kill it? You got a Tracer.
You probably
needs to
don't.
get close to a lot of damage. You got Keller on Reaper, who needs to get close to hit it. You don't have like a soldier to spam away at it from long range, or a Junkrat to instantly pop it. So yeah, there was really no good answer to it. And again, I was trying to talk about before that the fact that it's higher from the 2 angles it could come from spawn, the distance you have to stay on the point to contest or to potentially cap it, versus the distance it has to travel to you from one of those angles is so short. It's very hard to burst it down in time with what you have.
One thing I will say, though, is that Riptire is now just permanently linked with Jake. Jake could be out of Owl and on the analyst desk or pursuing whatever it might be, into the future. And I still feel like anytime someone dies of Tire, you just see J, lol, K-E.
I don't know how lol spelled is an A. It looks more like an O to me.
You would think, but that's the world we live in. It's the world that XQC put us in, I'm pretty sure.
God.
So. Yeah, he has the power to alter reality. That's the world we live in.
Double Widow, by the way, CP.
Yeah, I know. I am super excited for this Widow v Widow battle. Keller versus Hobbs. Let the Widow battle begin as both teams look for positioning here. And the offense right now going to take its time, just going up that upper right side, trying to give some time to Hobbs to find his man. And no, they're just going to dive in. They don't care about having free shots. They want to move Keller back, which they do.
But that shield out of Smurf was blocking off the damage that Hobbs could do. Finally, Smurf does get dealt with those, so they get rid of the Orisa. They get rid of the shields that can provide him, which is allowing a lot of free damage for Hobbs. 64%, 73% in counting as Keller's finally able to get the better of him, but it doesn't matter. I think the damage has been done on point.
And let's just remember, this is Chicken Ranch Pizza fighting for their tournament life here. Oh, nice shot by Keller. I don't know if they're going to actually be able to fight this back. They're certainly trying. Sugar Free blows up Smurf. Keller, battle Widowmaker on the ground. Takes down Little Menace. A nice little flick there. He's moving his way back around, in on the point. Unfortunately, Widowmaker, you weren't made for point defense. You were made for being smug at a distance.
But he might have done enough damage, actually. He got 3 kills before finally being finished off. Hobbs responded to kill on a Sharp, so that actually might have prevented them from having a chance to contest it. But damn, that was really well done by Keller. The pressure he was under to hit those 3 shots, especially with his following in close proximity, was well done.
Here comes No Clout on the verge of eliminating Chicken Ranch Pizza. All they have to do is get 81.7% Sharp, trying to disrupt it, ends up pulse bombing a pillar instead, not what he wanted. He ends up getting passed by. They dive onto Aid. They take him out. Hobbs, though, as fight and Keller's dive. It's still not bad, though, for No Clout. They're up a man, they have dominance on the point, and they're gonna drop the beat. They're moving in for more. Full self-destruct does take down Lucio, but this is still something that's winnable for the offense. It's Hypnot going absolutely ape. The Primal Rage making room. I don't know if it's gonna be enough, though. They just got the DMAC.
Yeah, they lost, I think, 2 people over the course of that fight, so that's definitely going to be on the way of Chicken Ranch Pizza on the defense. And they just need to reset here. They need to stop doing damage. The thing is, you're just feeding another EMP over to Gray. Yeah, they're finally gonna back away, but just stop attacking. Like, don't get any more. Don't give Gray any chance to build this up. He's at 24% now. Keep in mind for that as we do move into the next attack, and then you just go in without having to worry about an EMP.
So, for this to be a game where Chicken Ranch Pizza forces a third map, it's going to have to be one where Gray has nearly perfect EMP management, and Sharp right now not getting onto the Hob spot, the spot over the top there, but he is going to one-clip Sugar Free. My goodness, Sharp. Great positioning there, following through. And that's going to just give Chicken Ranch Pizza more time, and will give Keller, in particular, time to get his Dragon Blade up for the next fight.
God, I felt like it took so long for teams to finally come around to this, to when you lose a fight against a Sombra, just stop attacking. Don't feed another EMP off if it just went off of that previous fight, which they did 2 fights back-to-back now. Really well done, really smart at No Clout. Gonna see that teams finally picked up that strategy.
And Gray, not gonna have the EMP just, oh no, he just got a huge amount of health. Someone just healed up with a health pack. Doesn't have the EMP yet though, but now he does. Could drop it at any moment. He's super low. Keller uses the blade long before an EMP can come out. Hypnot out of the fight, so is Hawk. Both tanks down, and Chicken Ranch Pizza, they got what they need. And more importantly for them, they got to save the EMP.
I do like how we're seeing Chicken Ranch Pizza, though, be aggressive when they have the EMP on cooldown, not available to be used. So they take that damage, they back away, get the healing in, and then they get that EMP charged up. They have 4 big ultimates to use, and right now No Clout have been struggling to build up anything for themselves. Yeah, they have the Coalescence, but the Coalescence will not be enough to win the fight against what currently Chicken Ranch Pizza have.
Oh, look at Gray, a great viewpoint over the top, drops EMP, hits 5 out of 6 members, and who's there to follow up? It's Bull, it's Sharp, it's a Wasp team fight, in all senses of the word, as you see Winston just give up for the offense, so, wait, what is going on back here? The ninja from Baby Diva, not actually effective.
Well, they did a dry run, and they got the EMP gone. They got the Dragon Blade gone. The problem is Keller has another one, 70%. So, yeah, that didn't work out as well as they had hoped to. Keller did a lot more damage than maybe expected. But they got their own blade, and they know they have a window to play with here. They have 3 minutes left, and they don't need a full cap. They need to get pretty close to it.
I think Sugar Free is just wishing that his blade shot out tires with every swing. He just sort of like fused Genji and Junkrat.
Don't give Blizzard devs any more ideas, please. Torgrid or Cody wall climb.
Oh man, what a world we live in. But Sugar Free in the back, Coalescence backing him up, and here's the blade. Gray down, 1 swipe, 3 unanswered kills. No Clout could be on the verge of knocking Chicken Ranch Pizza out of the tournament. Make that 4 unanswered kills. This is the momentum you need for a successful Temple of Anubis push, and they are piling on right now. Gray, though, he's built up the EMP. A Coalescence can back him up. Chicken Ranch Pizza not out of it yet. Here's Coalescence. Gray moves in. EMP out, but it's too late to save Bull. It's too late to save Smurf. Keller, a blade from the back. Grabs Moira, but again, Jason, it's not quite enough.
No, Aid's gonna fall from this one. Hobbs gets the kill. The point is gonna start building up some progressions. They keep trading these kills off time and time. Sugarfree's getting close to another blade. They need to keep him alive. Most importantly, Hypnot has finally died, so they lost 1 main tank. The healers are still there, though, and they need to keep people healthy, but Sharp finally chimes in with another kill.
And this is a moment where Chicken Ranch Pizza desperately hoping to have the time of, okay, we can unpucker now. And that might be the case because it was Sharp who took advantage of the chaos, got 1 kill, and snowballed it into more. Sharp saving the day at the last moment. We're down to 1:56.
They got blade advantage again, though, because Keller did just switch to Doomfist. I'm assuming someone noticed that on his respawns going to Doomfist and back to now Genji. So they can use this blade again like they just used previously to get that first third.
Sugar Free, blade at the ready. The advantage not lost on No Clout. They dive in. There's the blade, but there's the EMP. Doesn't matter. Was still in a good enough position to swing it. Didn't need the dash resets. Would have been a lot uglier if it was. And once more, No Clout has the team of Chicken Ranch Pizza in check.
Hypnot did die, though. Again, they lost their tank. The progress is still being halted, though, as it's continuing to be contested. Coalescence is going to be coming in. The damage is pretty good. Hawk's going to throw in the EMP. Or, sorry, it's not Hawks, that's Vold. And it's going to get a double kill. You cannot have that happen when you're attacking.
Vold, the lifesaver for Chicken Ranch Pizza. 1:05 left, but the defensive respawns should be pushing No Clout out. No Hobbs. Hobbs trying his best here, but not enough. Too much tank pressure as Keller treats him to the salty uppercut right in the noggin.
But again, because Keller did switch to Doomfist, he's not going to have a blade. I'm assuming he's going to keep Doomfist this time because This constant switching is making everyone pucker up right now for Chicken Ranch Pizza. If they lose this point, they've lost this match and they're out of the entire tournament. Sugarfree's gonna have another blade coming up, and Paintbrush is gonna have a sound barrier. Gray's only at 70%. This could be really dangerous.
This is No Clout's best chance to put Chicken Ranch Pizza away in the fridge where it belongs. Sugar-free, blade ready, diving through the bottom. There's the barrier. No! Sugar-free didn't get hit by the barrier. It's a mistake. He does get aid, though. He's making the most of it. Not able to stay alive. He would have been with the barrier. Still ends up with 2 on the way out. There's still a chance for No Clout moving their way back in. 4 alive on the point. The defense needs to get it back out here in a hurry. And here comes aid. No, he's not able to stay on. The boot knocked him off, and No Clout has sent Chicken Ranch Pizza home.
Just little things like that, seeing that boop come in, just saving it. They had 4 people alive on the point, and that boop just got on that progress they needed. If Aid was able to get just 1 foot in there, it might have been enough, but this is going to be, what, the triple kill Riptire coming through? There you go, on a full killer and Aid to help go for that full hold on the second point. And No Clout, again, a team from the open division, 9-1, have just knocked out a team of really well-known players of Chicken Ranch Pizza.
Absolutely nutty. That came down to the final fight. Chicken Ranch Pizza was on the verge of bringing it to map number 3, but that little tiny boop making the difference. And that wasn't even a well-initiated fight per se, where you don't have your Blade and Genji get hit by the sound barrier, and yet No Clout did enough, kept 4 alive, and it was enough in the end to advance. But
Yeah,
guys, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, they lost, like you said, they lost Sugar-Free. Like, the guy who had the blade, like the big nail in the coffin, so to say there, and he died off the bat. But because of the overtime, you know, the way it works, when you're on the, so if even before overtime, the longer you're on the point contesting it, for the attacking team, the longer the respawns come back in, or even in overtime, it's even longer. It was just enough to keep them away.
It was, but guys, we still have one final match left. It's a winner bracket final. It's a best of 5. It is Fusion University, the good old FU, taking on Envision. Does Envision see what the curriculum of FU is going to be like? We'll have to find out after this break.